Oh my God, I cannot take games like this during the season. If there's going to be much more of these, I'm telling you, I'm not going to live through the season. 133-132 victory. Sixers beat the Hornets in overtime. You know, we played these guys about a week ago, and it came down to the wire again. It was a nail-biter. We beat them then, 105-103. We go into overtime here. Plenty of chances for the Sixers to put this game away. They didn't do it. We blew a 20-point lead at one point. The coaching, the turnovers, the defense, the lack thereof, I should say. Awful, awful, awful. But we rode our best player. We rode the Beast. And Beast was a complete monster again. 41, or he might even have 42 points. Would he end up with like 17 rebounds? We killed it on the glass. You know, we shot poorly. Not so great from the foul line. We missed 10 free throws, so 70%. You know, we had 16 turnovers, which is horrific. Just awful. The refs were horrific again tonight, but I don't like to blame here or there. You know, play the blame game on the refs, because that's not a reason a team wins or loses. But they were awful tonight. There were so many calls to where nobody was even being touched, and they were getting called both ways. You know, Simmons was not bad, okay? He had 14 assists, 22 points, and that's what we're going to need out of him. I still think we're going to need more points, especially out of this whole team. You know, I don't want to have Embiid being the only one that's being rode the entire game. You know, if we're going to do that, he's not going to make it through the season. He's not going to make it through an 82-game season. He hasn't up until this point in his career. So I want to try to preserve Embiid as much as possible. Simmons needs to be more aggressive, okay? Not only with him not taking the jumpers, but if you guys were watching towards the end of the game there, the lane was wide open. One-on-one, he could have broke Kemba or Miles Bridges' ankles, and then got an easy deuce. Instead of sitting there trying to drain the clock and looking to pass first. I cannot stand it. It drives me insane. I lost my voice screaming. We need him to be aggressive, and he isn't. You know, and I sound like a broken record, but it's like, when is it going to click in his head? Okay? And why is he guarding Kemba? He cannot guard these quick guards. All right? He gets his ankles broken. He's too big. They should have Rocco or somebody else on Kemba Walker. You know, that could have led to us losing. Kemba didn't get most of his points until the fourth quarter. At one point, he got 17 out of his 25 points in the fourth quarter. You know, that shouldn't be. We should be shutting them down. And thank God Embiid made that last free throw, because Gomez was able to hit that three at the end. You don't like the gray jerseys, Heim? Jonathan? I didn't mind them. I kind of like them, actually. Better get your voice back quick. Gotta be working 3 hours. Actually, I don't have an early shift. I've been working the early shifts as of late, so I've been behind on making the Sixers videos, unfortunately. I don't even want to talk about that Brooklyn game. Horrendous. We had a nice game, and we finally won on the road, too, against the Pacers. Jerseys the Eagles use, meh. You know, it's something a little different. And they did it for the military week day today. Excuse me. Pizza's coming up on me, and my stomach is so upset from screaming over this game. But, you know, we were awful behind the three-point line tonight, too. I think we only hit 12 out of 37. Brett Brown doesn't have a game plan. He doesn't know how to draw up offense. Okay, we've got the two plays. We either kick it down to Embiid when he's in like 15 feet away from the basket, or they draw a screen, a little two-way game with JJ. Like, other than that, it's just nothing. And you know, a lot of people be standing around. But Sarge, the last two games, I love what I've seen out of him. Was pissed at him, though, after he scored that basket, and they got that easy cherry-picking assist down at the end, which tied the game up there in overtime, where he didn't hustle back. You know, don't be sitting there complaining at the refs because you didn't get a call. Yeah, you should have got a call, but you didn't, so just get your ass back on defense and play. You don't want to cost the team the game because you're sitting there and complaining. Okay, just get back on defense. You don't want to allow easy points like that. But we still have a ton of work to do, guys. We shouldn't be hanging around with teams like Charlotte. The Nets, we shouldn't be getting blown out by the Nets. Okay? We beat a good team in the Pacers. It's just, this has a lot to do with Brett Brown, okay? And I still think there's going to need to be a coaching change just because of his lack of knowledge, I feel. And when we were up 20 points and they started to come back, where was the timeout? Okay? Call the timeout to stop the momentum. Stop the bleeding. Where was the timeout when we were up 20 and then 10 and then 6 and then 5 and then they take the lead, Brett? You're doing nothing over there but scratching your balls. What the hell? Call a timeout and draw up a play. Thank God we got this victory, okay? Still not happy how we won because it was sloppy and ugly as shit. You know, it's just like common sense. I don't get Brett Brown. I don't. I said Brown was overrated last year. Don't say I didn't warn you. Yeah, I know, Sean. Look at I'm even stuttering over it, but I've defended Brett Brown up until this point, but there's no more excuses anymore. Okay? You look at it, since he's gotten here for the past 6 years, we've been towards the bottom of the league in turnovers. Past 2 years, we got a good team. We've assembled a great team. Okay? This team has a chance to make a push to go to the Eastern Conference Finals and possibly even the NBA Finals. All right? You know, we're still a piece away from getting there, but this is a very good team, 50-win team. We shouldn't be at the bottom of the league. And that's only one problem there, and that's Brett Brown, with averaging over 16 turnovers a game. The guy just doesn't seem to know what he's doing. Before, maybe it was overshadowed by the talent that was on the court before, with the Hollis Thompsons, the Jakar Sampsons, the Isaiah Cannons, and stuff like that. Well, now you've got NBA elite talent on here, and we shouldn't be turning the ball over 16 points a game. Okay, and I also want to say, towards the end there, before we went into overtime, why was J.J. Redick on Kemba Walker? Why wasn't Covington shadowing him the entire game? J.J. Redick should not be on him. Ben Simmons should not be on him. Okay? It is what it is. I love what I saw. We got the win, so that's fine. But it's like he's not learning from his mistakes. It's just the same old shit from Brett Brown. And I don't think it is going to change ever. I think this is what we're going to get. You know, when you get into the playoffs or you're trying to contend for a title, this guy's going to have to adapt during the game. You're going to have to change and make play calls and spice things up. I've told you this guys before. He's copying what they do down in San Antonio because he's learned under Popovich, but we don't have shooters on this team. So I still think we have to make a push before the trade deadline and get a shooter or whatever we have to do to acquire a shooter or make a big splash. I still don't want to get Jimmy Butler for obvious reasons. There was, I love the bogus trade rumors that go around, but there was a bogus trade rumor about us acquiring Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler, and we would give them Sarge, Fultz, like 3 first-round picks, and possibly Ben Simmons. And it's just funny to think about that type of crap because that is stupid. You would never do that for 2 old guys that are basically, you know, on the back 9 of their career. Jimmy's still a little young. He's only 30, but still. There's a lot of minutes logged on those legs. But we got Wilson Chandler back. We're getting healthy. He adds a guy that's going to be able to defend the perimeter and shoot. But, again, I don't want to see Embiid, working this much. Somebody else has to take the pressure off him. And don't you think it's kind of funny that the 7-2 guy is taking the ball up at the end of the game? Because he's our best free throw shooter, and really, he's the only guy that can create on the court when it's Ben, Sarge, Covington. And that shouldn't be. You shouldn't have your 7-2 guy taking the ball up. So that has to change. The aggressiveness has to come in. I would still like to see Fultz in the guts of the game, but I'm loving what I've seen out of Fultz up until this point. The kid has been a lot more aggressive. He's been a lot better on defense. I think he got a lot of bogus calls tonight. The jump shot still is broken, is ugly as hell. And, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place when you play him and Simmons because Virtually, they're almost the same player. They're afraid to shoot, and none of them really want to go out there, whether that's because they have the lack of confidence or Fultz being because he's going to get benched if he misses it, and, he'll be shunned by Coach Brown. I still think he's going to hurt his development in Markelle Fultz. I don't think Brett Brown is the guy to really help progress Fultz's career. So it's a make it or break it year for Brett this year. Regardless if he wins 50-plus games and we make it to the playoffs again, I think the Sixers brass, God willing, if we just get knocked out or beat around because we can't get past the Celtics or Toronto because of the talent and the coaching level that is there, we're going to be back to square one. But Sixers get the victory, barely get the win against Charlotte, and another night where we struggle with turnovers, and we ride the Beast. And Beast is no doubt in my mind should be number one in MVP voting up until this point of the season. He's been an absolute monster. He has willed our team to what we are right now, and I'm glad that we got the one win on the road, but you're going to win in the NBA, you got to win on the road. You can't get all this fire from the home crowd. If that was the case, you'd be 41-41 and barely getting it in. But Sixers barely get the win. Still have a ton of work to do. Him or Giannis for MVP. Yeah, Giannis has been a monster too. No doubt about it. I think he's got a more complete team. Giannis does. So that's why I give the edge to Embiid. But both of them have been unbelievable. Milwaukee could take that turn, and they have a lot to prove too, because Giannis is in a contract year. He could possibly leave. I don't think they'd let him walk out the building. They'd be idiots to do that. They're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at him to never let him leave Milwaukee. They haven't had a player like that ever, other than the Big O, but again, I never saw that guy play. How did Bolden look to you? Bolden's whatever to me, man. I wasn't impressed with him when I saw him during preseason and summer league. Even the little bit of minutes that he gets in here, he's still so raw. I think he would benefit going down with the Bluecoats again. I know they sent him down there, but I think he needs some real time down there. He played that one game, and he's got 22 points, 13 rebounds. Middleton could leave. Yeah, Middleton would be a nice piece. I'd like him too. But Bolden and same with Korkmaz. They both should have been sent down to play with the Bluecoats, get them more acclimated with offense, to more NBA-ready system, more, game time decisions, stuff like that, because they're not going to learn anything sitting on the bench. So Bolden still has a long way to go. When the Suns got rid of Tyson Chandler, I wanted the Sixers to go after him so bad, and the freaking Lakers got him because LeBron wanted him, and LeBron gets what he wants. So I think he would have been a great addition to our team. When Embiid goes out, he's a guy that can go in there, have a big body. He's a gritty defender, vet. He's going to do all the dirty work for you. He's a big body. He can block. He's been in pressure situations. He's won a championship. He's got a lot of playoff experience. He would have been a great addition, and we didn't go after him. Think we could bowl him up because of depth with Moose? Yeah, with him out now, too. That's why he's up. What's going on, Kyle? It was scary. Yeah, what's up, Alex? I know. It was frightening, bro. Not aggressive like last year in the Summer League. Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Amir Johnson can't get minutes moving forward. I mean, Amir, I wasn't the biggest fan when we signed him last year. He did prove himself, though, last year with playing some gritty defense, but he's not a very great option either to back up Embiid. He's not a defense. He can't block shots. I like to have a big body guy in there who's going to be able to get you a lot of rebounds, block. I mean, his effort is endless. The guy's got a heart. Throw his body out on the line there for you, do a lot of the gritty stuff, but he's not like a Tyson Chandler. He's not going to be out there protecting the rim, and that's our biggest weakness when Embiid goes out. When Embiid's even on there, we don't have guys that can really protect the rim. You see what teams do. They lead Embiid out of the paint, and then they attack us down low. They draw him out to get him out on the three-point line, and then we're open. We're gashed. They hit us with a lot of backdoor cuts. You know, a lot of inbound plays where it's easy buckets. And Amir Johnson's not the guy to really get that for you, to really prevent all that stuff from happening. But he's a good vet. He'll do any, heart of gold right there. But that's not going to win us games. He's not a guy I'm really going to have a lot of confidence in. And he scares the crap out of me when he gets the ball offensively. He throws some ugly-ass baby hooks up there, let me tell you. They're playing better, but still horrible defensively. Yeah, he's awful defensively. He's sitting there complaining to the refs. Dude, get back on defense, man. He doesn't get any calls at all. I mean, he gets fouled more than anybody I've seen on the Sixers, and the whistles are always silent, and of course he's going to get pissed off about it and complain, but you're leaving the defense wide open, and that could cost you the game. You don't want to cost your team the game. You don't want to be a Ty Montgomery, all right? You do not want that to happen at all. So, I like what I've seen out of him offensively, though. His shot looks a lot better. There's a lot more air. His legs seem to be under him. So, I hope he continues on that, because we need Sarge big time. We really do. He can kind of create his own shot other than Embiid, but we need him to be aggressive. And I want us to take a lot more mid-range jumpers. That's such an underrated part of basketball that really gets overlooked, I think. If you look at the Warriors, they're really known for shooting threes, but if you watch them, their mid-range game, that is their go-to. They love shooting, 15 feet away from the basket. You do a lot of runoff screens, a lot of hooks, a lot of stuff like that, and it's effective. It opens up a lot of the offense for you, especially behind the three-point line. So, I wish Brett would do some studying, because the NFL's a copycat league, and basketball can be too. So, you see what has made them so effective. We don't have the shooters to really rock behind the three-point line, but the mid-range game is right there. It's a lot easier, a lot of backdoor cuts that we could be using. Guys that can get to the basket, especially when you got Covington and JJ there, who are known three-point shooters, who are going to jack up them shots. You get them, you kick it to Embiid 15 feet away from the basket, have them cut hard to the rim. Come on. It's money. I don't understand why Embiid doesn't look to be aggressive more like he did late in the game. Yeah, late in the game, dude, the lane was open. They left it wide open. They spread out the defense. They were guarding all around the perimeter, and it was just him and Miles Bridges. All he had to do was cross him up or hit him with a spin, and there was no way nobody was 5 feet close to him where he could have got an easy layup or an easy jam. It was there the entire time when we were bleeding the clock. They wouldn't have expected it. It would have, given him that boost. It's just the aggressiveness. It just kills me. And the lack of shooting. Now, he sits there and says he doesn't need to worry about his shot because he can get to the rim willingly. Well, show it. Prove it to us. Because that was your problem last year. You didn't go strong to the rim. And I still see the same issues from last year. But, it's going to get to the point to where, when do you really call it quits for Ben trying to acquire, really, or develop a jump shot if he doesn't take it? You see all the workout videos. You see what he does in practice. Dude, I've seen him during warm-ups. He looks like crap. I think the one time he went like 5 for 20. It was terrible. So, I don't really care what you can do in practice when there's nobody on you, when nobody's guarding you. Anybody can do that. I want to see it in real game time. And the way he does it, there's just no aggressiveness. I don't know if he's got that killer instinct, honestly. So, a lot hinges on Ben, too. We need him big time for this team to move forward. God forbid anything happens to Embiid. I think this team's going to scutter a lot. He works out with his brother in the offseason, and he works out with LeBron. And I was hoping LeBron would rub off on him, but I don't see it. As great as Ben is, he hasn't gotten much better from last year. He doesn't. And I could care less about his triple-doubles, dude. Like, if you're just doing that to pad your stats, I don't care. I'd rather you get, like, 25 to 30 points than your corny little empty triple-doubles of your 14, 10, and 12. Like, that doesn't do anything for me, and it doesn't do anything for the team. If you're looking to pass, like, you get a 15-assist game, so what? I'd rather you look to score that last basket than freaking dish it off and possibly miss it. Nah. You want to take over a game, you want to be like Mike, you want to be the best to ever do it, you got to have that killer instinct, that dog mentality. And he don't have it. He's soft. He's LA soft. He's that West Coast soft. Thank Kendall for that. All right, guys. That's it from me. We are on the road for the next couple games. Memphis is our next matchup. We got Grindhouse. Should look into trading for Josh Richardson. Fits the needs of this team. We need shooting. We have to make more trades. This team lacks shooting. And that's what this offense is built around. So we need to do some wheeling and dealing. We have to take a page out of Danny Ainge's book and do something. Whether that's biting the bullet and getting rid of Sarge to better this team, I think you might have to do that. You know, it sucks because I like Sarge. I love the homie. But if he's going to get you a guy that's going to, you know, constantly and consistently knock down like 5 to 8 jumpers or threes, you do it. I don't want Jimmy Butler, Matt. It's gonna cost too much. But, you know, so we're gonna be playing Grindhouse next. You got Marcus Saul, you got Jaren Jackson Jr. there, Mike Conley. They're rolling. Got Dylan Brooks. They're a decent team. You know, they don't have a lot of sexy names on there. Bradley Beal's too injury prone for me too. Makes way too much money. But in order to beat them, they're going to slow it down. You have to speed it up. You got to wear out Marcus Saul running up and down the court. You got to have a fast-paced offense to beat them, because if you just go into half court and you play slow, you're playing right into their hand. They're going to hit you in the mouth with their defensive play, and they can knock down jumpers. They've got some nice three-point shooters on there. Like I said, Dylan Brooks, Mike Conley's very underrated. Gasol's a great passer out of the post. He's getting up there. I mean, so is Conley. They're both pretty old, but they're holding their own in the West. I got to give them cred. What do you think of Fultz so far? I didn't like what Fanac. I didn't like what I saw out of him earlier. But the last 5 games, I've loved what I've seen out of Fultz. He's being aggressive. He's playing a lot better defense. He's bodying up people. He's using his length to his advantage. You know, the jumper's still not there. It still looks like shit. But it's a work in progress. At least he takes some shots rather than Ben that doesn't take any at all. You know, and when Ben does do it, he's like 5 to 10 feet away from the basket, and he's either shooting off of 1 foot or he's shooting a fadeaway. You're 6'10". What the hell are you trying to shoot over? Are you kidding me? Oh, so frustrating. But and then we've got Miami on that road trip, and then we don't have the next home game against Utah until next Friday. So, has some explaining to do. Hey, there's only so much he can do, you know? The guy's not a miracle worker, so I don't think you can really pin it on him all so much. I know there was that BS report about saying Fultz was still hurt or yada, 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 but there's going to be guys that aren't going to develop a shot. You know, he's not a miracle worker. He's not going to magically make everybody shoot like Klay Thompson or Steph Curry. No problem, Carly. Anytime. So, I'm going to get up out of here, guys. The traffic's gone. I got a little bit of drive home. I got to get up early tomorrow, so I'm going to head out. Yeah, he's not hurt. That was an excuse. That was just bullshit because everybody expected him to come in here and light it up and be knocking down shots because he worked one summer with Drew Hanlon. Grizz are going to do the same thing that Conley, like Hornets did, Kemba. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I don't worry about, I mean, you still got to worry about Gasol because he's a nice player, but, you know, you got to worry about Conley. Jaren Jackson's nice, too. So, Embiid's probably either going to be on either one of those, but Jaren Jackson Jr. can shoot for a big man. He's got a nice touch, you know, so if you draw Embiid out, then you could just kick it down to Marcus Saul, and Amir Johnson can't cover Marcus Saul because he's huge, so then you have to have Embiid. Who do you put Embiid on, Gasol or Jaren Jackson? Pick your poison. Then you got Mike Conley, who's got a great handle. He's a lefty, southpaw. He can dish it out. He can shoot. You got Dylan Brooks, like I mentioned before. They got a nice squad. They still hit you in the mouth. For not having sexy names on that team, they do work. And they worry me. I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough matchup. I don't think we're going to beat them. especially on the road. You know, we would need the fan base, you know, playing here at the Wells Fargo to really juice this team up. As you can see, the energy that we brought tonight that fueled this team to victory, even though it was grueling. It was like pulling your fingernails out. But, yeah, got a tough couple games coming up. And Brett better, you know, draw some game plans up, draw some freaking plays up, do something instead of sitting there scratching your ass, not calling timeouts when you need to, when the bleeding is just like, if you were with Brett Brown, dude, he'd let you bleed out because he wouldn't know what to do. You know, you cut your carotid artery. I don't know what to do. I'll just watch you. I don't know. Too stupid. Can't call a timeout. I have no idea what to do. No clue. I'm just gonna sit here and look like a jackass. Feed and beat the ball 400 times. We'll put J.J. Redick on Kemba Walker. You know, stuff like that. But Kyle Gaffner with the Bitter Birds. Is Brett Brown the coach to lead this team to victory? Can he win us an NBA title here in Philadelphia? Something we've been yearning for since 1983. Something I've never seen. Something I've been wanting to see my entire life when the AI era, you know. They won it. Yeah, Jay Wright would be dope. You know, 1983 was way before I was born. So I didn't get to enjoy all those years of the 70s and the 80s of the Sixers rocking it out, making them an historic franchise. And, you know, I want that. I got juiced up when AI was here. Those were some great years. 2001, I was young, but I remember it. We went up against some freaking Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. You know, we got that first victory the Philly way. We grinded that shit out, and then we basically got swept after that. But after seeing what we built, going through all the losing and then getting all the pieces in place, is Brett Brown the guy to lead us to a championship? That is a question that's still yet to be answered. And I don't think he is. And I defended this guy for 6 years because he coached better when we had no talent. And now that we have talent, he just looks clueless. He just looks lost. Losing Lloyd Pierce was huge. You know, we lost him. He went out, coached the Atlanta Hawks. And it's just, we've got two plays. 2 plays on offense. That two-way game with J.J. Redick. And then Brett just does the same thing. Every time after halftime, J.J. Redick comes and starts, leaves Fultz on the bench. It's just the same story, the same script over and over and over again. And, like, we barely win. I guess he thinks it's good enough. It's not. I don't like Brett. He has a Boston accent. We hate Boston here. Oh, they're damn winning. All the time. Can't stand it. Celtics got the most championships out of any NBA franchise. Screw them. Can't stand Boston. Hate them. Hate them all. Hate all their teams. Especially the Patriots. Cannot freaking stand them and Tom Brady. But getting off topic here. All right, guys, I gotta get out of here. It's Kyle Gaffner with the Bitter Birds. What'd you think of tonight's win? Pretty ugly. Is everybody as sick as me? I'm going to chug like 3 gallons of Pepto when I get home. I usually bring it and carry on, you know. Got my little carry-on Pepto. I haven't brought it with me. I haven't really needed it, but I'm going to start bringing it. Instead of a flask, I'm going to be bringing a freaking bottle of Pepto. It's coming back. A little too early for it in the season, I think. But I hope he does. I hope Fultz starts to get cooking, but he's looking better and better. And leave your comments. What do you think about Fultz? Is everybody liking what they're seeing so far? There's been a lot of haters. I didn't watch the game while I saw there's 11 points. Bro, we were up 20 at one point. We should have shut the door on them multiple times. We let them get back into the game. Brett Brown didn't call a timeout when the lead was just getting chipped away. He just stood there. He wasn't even really coaching or telling the players what to do. It's like, figure it out for yourself. It's like, if you ever played street ball, it's like that. You know, if you've never played with your boys and you're just playing a pickup game at L.A. or you know, down at the playground, it's kind of like that. Just jumbled, freaking nobody can, like, have a feel for each other because you never played before. That's what it looks like a lot of the time. And it needs to change. But I don't think the Sixers brass has the knowledge or the know-how to really pull the trigger and put Brett Brown on the hot seat. And I'm hoping Elton Brand, as the GM, is going to be able to do that. Use some of your power and influence that. Please, Elton. Just don't be a guy that just got put in place and you're just like the face, just to replace BC. Refs were pretty... Yeah, the refs were terrible. But it went both ways, you know? There was a lot of bullshit calls on the Sixers, but there was a lot of bad calls on the Hornets, too. These refs were terrible. It's just as bad. It's like watching the NFL. Nobody's getting touched. Guys are acting or pretending, and they're getting the calls. It's a joke. It's terrible. You know, NFL is turning into the college game where it's just a lot of high scoring, no resistance, and the NBA is following suit.